Hello everyone, welcome to your third online music lesson. I'm Miss Stager. Thank you to everyone who shared pictures or videos of their pamphlets and their compositions. It was amazing to see how creative you were with your songs. Some of my favorite titles were The Colorful Road, Galaxy, I'm in Malibu, and I Want Snacks. So thank you for being so creative. If you ever write more songs, feel free to share them with me. I'd always love to hear them. This week, we will be making string instruments. So instruments in the string family are, of course, instruments with strings. So the one we're most familiar with at school is the ukulele, but some others you might know: the violin, cello, viola, double bass, and harp. These are all part of the orchestra, and of course the piano. And you might know a few others. Now, when you're playing a string instrument, the way it makes a sound is when you move the string, it vibrates. So I'll show you what that looks like on my ukulele. So I pluck the string and you can see it vibrates. And that's how it makes a sound. And when the vibration stops, the sound stops. Now, how do I then change the pitch on a string instrument? So when we made our pan flutes, we shortened the length of our straws and that changed the pitch. The longer the straw, the lower the pitch. The shorter the straw, the higher the pitch. So if I use my finger to shorten the length of my string on my ukulele, do you think that will make the pitch then go higher or lower? Make your guess now. Ready? Let's hear what happens. So as you can see, if I shorten the length of the string, the pitch goes higher. So today we're going to be making a ukulele at home using things that you already have, and we'll be doing some experiments with the length of our strings and how we can change the sound. Here's what you'll need for today's activity. First, you will need one box. Now, you can use a cereal box, a shoe box, a Kleenex box. Kleenex boxes are actually easiest because if you have that, you get to skip one step. But if not, you can use a cereal box like me. I also don't have a Kleenex box lying around. Then you will need some elastic bands, at least 4. You'll need some tape, and you will need 2 pencils. Now, if you don't have pencils, you could use pens or you could use straws if you have those laying around from your pan flute activity. And that's all you need. Now, before we actually make our instrument, we're going to do a little sound experiment. So, choose an elastic band. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it, actually, I'm going to use a thicker elastic. I find they have slightly thicker ones have a nicer sound. I'm just going to put it on my box. Now, of course, this is not going to make a very good instrument because remember, when we pluck a string, we want it to vibrate, but right now it's sitting against the box, so it's not vibrating. So what we're missing is something to lift it off of the box to give it room to vibrate. So just like a ukulele has a bridge that keeps the strings off of the ukulele, we are going to make a bridge right now using the pencils. So you're going to take a pencil and just put it underneath the elastic band, just like that. Same thing on the other side. And try to make sure your elastic is completely flat. If it's twisted, it's not going to make a very good sound. And that's it. We're ready to do some sound experiments. So we're going to figure out how the length of the string affects the sound. So right now my pencils are as far apart as they can be, which means my string is as long as it can be. So I'm going to be gently plucking it, and let's listen to the pitch. Makes kind of a low pitch. Now what will happen if I move my pencil in a little bit? So now my string is shorter. Do you think the pitch will be higher or lower now? Make your guess. Ready? Let's hear. It made a higher pitch. And as you can see, I'm just holding my pencil in place so it doesn't wiggle. Let's shorten it again. A little bit higher. A little higher. Super high. So as you can see, the length of the string really is going to affect the sound. Now, something that will also affect the sound is how wide or how thick your elastic band is. So I'm going to try now with a very thick elastic band. So we can compare the the difference that the width of the string or the elastic will make on the sound. All right, so now I have a thick elastic and I have a thin one. So let's listen to what the thin one sounds like. Pretty low. That was my thick elastic, even lower. So the thickness of your strings will change the pitch as well. And that makes sense because if you actually look at our ukulele, I have a thinner string, a really thick one, in between, and really thin. And then the thicker the string, the lower the pitch. The skinnier the string, the higher the pitch. So now we're actually going to make our ukulele. So take everything off your box. We're gonna kind of reset, oops. And now we're actually going to make our instrument. So to make your instrument, you're going to need to take your box and make sure it has a sound hole, just like a ukulele does, right? So if you look at my ukulele, it isn't flat, it has a hole in the middle, and that's called the sound hole. It helps send the sound out instead of keeping it really quiet. So if you're like me and you have a cereal box or a shoe box that doesn't have a sound hole, you'll need to take a moment now and cut one. So you just cut a hole in the middle. It doesn't have to be too big, just wide enough that you'll be able to fit the number of elastics you want to go across it. So take a moment and cut that hole. I've already done mine. Then you're going to choose 4 elastic bands. Now I'm going to try and choose 4 of different widths because I want to see how the width of the string is going to affect the pitch. So I have 4 different widths. It doesn't matter if you don't have that, you can do all the same, that works too. Okay, now I'm going to string them across my sound hole. Try to make sure that they're completely flat. Like I said before, you don't want them to have any twists, otherwise the sound will not, it'll be kind of twangy and not in the way that we want. So I've taken my first elastic and I've put it over the sound hole. So I'll do the same thing with all 4 of my elastics, again making sure that the string is flat. And I'm going to do mine from thickest or widest to thinnest. So again, trying to get rid of any twists all over the sound hole. Actually I'm going to do a green one. Okay, and last one. This is my skinniest string. Okay, so now I have my 4 strings over the sound hole. Now, of course, what I'm missing, they're not vibrating very well, is I'm missing my bridge. So I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to put it underneath the elastics, right by the sound hole. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, you might find that your pencils tend to wiggle around, so you'll need to actually tape them in place. So just put a little bit of tape over top just to kind of help keep them in place. That way when you're strumming your strings, your pencil isn't going to go flying around. So do that for each end of your pencil to keep them still. And there you go. I've made my Boxulele. That's what I like to call this instrument. So you can see my pieces of tape holding the pencils in place. So now let's listen to what it sounds like. So that's my thick elastic, my medium one, a little bit thinner, and there you go. So now I can make music. Now if your string or your elastic makes a weird sound like this, almost makes 2 pitches, it just means that it's not laying flat on your pencil and that it's twisted. Now this elastic is really thin, so I don't know if I'll be able to fix it. Oh, it's a little bit better, but still like smooth. Yeah, so if it twists too much, it just gets a little bit of a double pitch. That's okay. So there you go. Now, as always, you could write a song for this if you want, right? Like I could number my strings 1 to 4, and I could write 1 1 3 3 1 1 3 2 2 1 3 4, and you can write a song using your ukulele. So that's how you make a boxulele. Take care, and as always, please share a picture or a video of you playing your instrument once you've made it. Take care, and I'll see you next week.